OXI Courage Award links brave freedom fighters in the world today to the examples set by the Greeks when they answered the Nazi demand for surrender with a defiant and courageous no. By creating the OXI Courage Award, they have found a way to give voice to the voiceless and hope to people fighting for freedom in some of the darkest corners of the world.
Please welcome Washington OXI Day Foundation founder and president, Andrew Manitos.
Thank you. Over the first 14 years of the Washington OXI Day Foundation, we've had a remarkable opportunity to honor some of the world's most courageous individuals. Those honorees have graced this stage. They've included President Zelensky, President Biden, two courageous women who each went on to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, Nadia Murad and Maria Ressa, both nominated by Amal Clooney, conflict journalist James Foley, nominated by President Bill Clinton. And of course, I've got to say, there's another who's here with us tonight, and it's just hard for me to imagine that just 91 days ago, he was sitting in a Russian prison. But the incredibly courageous Vladimir Karamurza. Our modern-day Davids who battle today's Goliaths, who fight against freedom and democracy, those who had the courage to say no, to think about it, to Russia, China, Iran, Afghanistan, North Korea, Cuba, ISIS, the Taliban, and even COVID. Tonight, we honor them for their continued courage after they left this stage. And we are blessed to have many of our OXI Day laureates in this room again tonight. So join us as we pay tribute to their relentless courage.
Today, we honor James Foley with the 2014 OXI Day Award for his courage and his values in defense of peace, liberty, and freedom. As a frontline journalist, he took on the important job of shining a light on some of the darkest parts of the world. He was a voice for so many who had been silenced, and he fought always to bring us the truth. He represented hope in a time and place of so much despair.
I think courage is hard to define. I think we all want to be courageous and we think we might be, but you don't know until you are tested. His life challenges us. We can't let his death be in vain.
His life is a model of what a 21st century citizens ought to be. And now it's our turn to model his story, to share it with others.
You know, the thing is, there's physical courage. For some reason, I have physical courage. But really, think about it. That's nothing compared to moral courage. If I don't have that moral courage, we don't have journalism.
An act of moral courage is about believing in humanity, making an active, daily choice to pull that goodness into your life, to make a decision to own it, to build it, to invest in it, to hope, to take the risk. That as a human community, we can be better and we can do better. And I think that's courageous.
And so that is why our tagline is inspiring moral courage one person at a time. Because we all have those choices every day. And our world needs us to have the moral courage to choose the good, to choose to do what is right.
The world was stunned this week by news of the big prisoner exchange between Western nations and Russia. Just before midnight Friday, 3 U.S. citizens who'd been detained in Russia landed safely at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. They were greeted by President Biden and Vice President Harris before reuniting with their families. It was 10 years ago this month that ISIS terrorists in Syria executed American journalist James Foley and published the horrific images online. Foley had been held captive for nearly 2 years. Grieving but determined, his mother, Diane, set out to help others suffering from the same loss.
But within weeks, Foley began transforming her anguish into action.
4 Americans were publicly beheaded. Where is our outrage as Americans?
She launched the James W. Foley Legacy Foundation, providing funding and a network of support to families of U.S. hostages abroad, while pushing the government to do more.
In 2012, 2014, there was no one whose job it was to bring innocent Americans home.
In 2015, then President Barack Obama created a cross-agency team, bringing the White House, State Department, and FBI together to prioritize and coordinate hostage response efforts, including appointing, for the first time, a special presidential envoy for hostage affairs.
None of this would have happened without Diane Foley.
She's been that instrumental.
Absolutely.
Please welcome James Foley's mother and president and founder of the James Foley Legacy Foundation, Diane Foley.
Good evening. I'm so humbled to be here and so honored. We're truly in the midst of many present-day heroes tonight. So we're just beginning to hear some of their beautiful stories. I want to especially thank Andy and Mike Manitos for their leadership. And because I think more than ever today, we need to be inspired, right? We need to be inspired to have the courage to do good in the world. The Washington OXI Foundation celebrates that Greek concept of philotimo, a love of honor, a pride in doing the right thing. From small acts of kindness to supporting one's community in the face of violence, oppression, and evil. That brave OXI know of the Greek Prime Minister to Mussolini, and the courage of the Greek people truly changed the outcome of World War II. Our oldest son, James Wright Foley, was a freelance conflict journalist, first embedded with the U.S. military in Afghanistan and Iraq, and later became a freelance conflict journalist in Libya and Syria. He chose to go where few others would, to tell the stories of those ravaged by war, to give voice to those without one. And he aspired to be a man of moral courage. He truly did. And that's why he said those words. He really felt that physical courage was one thing, but one needed to have the moral courage to stand for the truth, to stand for freedom, even if you're going to be hurt and have severe consequences. It was Jim's bravery and generosity to fellow hostages throughout his 22 months of torture by ISIS and before his public beheading that really challenged me to start the James Foley Legacy Foundation. I felt very challenged by Jim and inspired. I really felt, as Americans, we could and must do better. And thanks to so many good people in this room and who stood up after Jim and the other 3 Americans were killed, we are doing better. We've had more than 130 innocent U.S. nationals who've come home since 2015. And to me, that is miraculous. Miraculous. And what's been beautiful about that is it's been a bipartisan effort. It's been, we've tried very hard to make sure it stays an American issue. So in closing, I'd just like to say that may that philotimo shown by the Greek people in 1940, and that of all the former and new awardees here tonight, inspire each of us to dare to stand up for what is moral and good, no matter the consequence. Thank you so much. Thank you.